What? Yo, hey man, Shay man, this your boy DAA man. Daylight TV. Back at y'all with another Rise and Vine live show. We'll call this episode 29. I'm gonna keep it G, bro. I ain't been having like the best week. Like my mornings or whatever and shit have just, and I like my mornings. Like, you know what I'm saying? Part of the reason I even decided to do a morning show is because I was a morning person, right? But what I also am is I'm a person who is one man army. You know, normally if anything happens with me or my brand or whatever the case may be, niggas don't fuck with me like that. That's why I wasn't even gonna come up on here, bro. Being fucking honest, I really wasn't. Like, I be having my days, bro, where I feel like no matter how much a nigga try to do, the right thing and all that shit, it's like the world at large, it just be feeling like the goalposts get moved on me. You know what I'm saying? Like I gotta do something more. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, I get it, but it's like, bro, fuck all that. You understand what I'm saying? Like, fucking uphill battle shit or whatever with these, like fucking with anything in the media, just like life in general, bro. Like, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? It's shit. And I be handling this shit better than anybody else, so that I just be annoyed. Like, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes it just be the sucker shit. You know what I mean? Like, but just up on here. Because I don't know how to do nothing else or whatever but be consistent. Did have a show, like a lineup that I was really, like I really busted my ass on putting together. And then I had all kind of other like personal shit. It's not even my personal shit. That's the fucked part about it. My morning really got interrupted about somebody else's shit. And it's kind of my fault. And it's the reason why I be keeping my fucking phone on Do Not Disturb until around like 10 a.m. Like, I really fucking mean it. whatever. What up, DQ? But yeah, man, like I be over in this motherfucker. I got a music project, you know what I'm saying? I'm working on. I got 4 documentaries or whatever and shit that I've been like researching and writing the script on. And movie shit, working on, you know, still building up my film equipment or whatever and shit like that, so that when I'm done with the scripts and they're finalized, I can actually, you know, move forward toward the shooting shit. So, mind you, my nigga, like, there ain't no team, like, ain't nobody I be sitting around having no fucking meetings with every week to like where the money gonna come from. You understand what I'm saying? Like, that shit don't work like that for me, and it never has. You understand what I'm saying? Like, everything I've done, all 12 or 13 mixtapes, however many I put out, fucking 7 or 8 tours I've done. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I've never had no one back to me, bro. That's why, like, I'm not really fucking, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't really be impressed or whatever and shit, because I know what this shit takes. And so I understand it, whatever and shit. Like, a lot of motherfuckers ain't doing that, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, it's cool, you know, shit, whatever doors are open for you, bro, like, congratulations. You understand what I'm saying? I'm just saying, it ain't the same. You understand what I'm saying? Like, and on top of that, outside of me having to grind harder, what's even more, like, evident is most of these motherfuckers who get all of this like support and shit like that or whatever and shit, I'm better than all of them. In fact, the shit is so real that it's niggas, when I was with BMP, it's niggas who had whole angels. You understand what I'm saying? Invested all kinds of shit. Free studio time, free beats, and all this other shit. And you wanna know what's crazy? That was 2005, my nigga. I didn't even have a record out. I didn't even have my first mixtape out. But you know who got more fucking like releases than all of them niggas? You know who's more Googleable than all of them niggas? Me, nigga. That's who. And that's the shit or whatever that really keep me going and really be having me like keeping my foot on niggas' necks or whatever and shit like that, because I know, nigga. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I know that if you took the structure from these niggas, if you took, you know, the babysitter, you know, that makes sure that they get to everywhere on time and all of this other shit, and whatever, managers, investors, all that shit, whatever, they're done. They're done. You won't hear another fucking record from them niggas. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, everybody or whatever and shit who is like, you know, I passed them niggas. Even on the clothing line shit or whatever with that rap game shit, I done sold more t-shirts and hoodies than all of them niggas. But, you know what I'm saying? And I've been just on here, bro, trying to do the content, do the work or whatever and shit, and keep it humble. Fuck humble. Fuck chill, because chill don't pay the bills, nigga. You know what I'm saying? I'ma even speak on how some of the people who, you know, I guess they half-ass salute me or whatever and shit in public. But then it's niggas that I have, you know, been cool with, hit me up for a feature, you know, yo, I need you to jump on this or whatever and shit. Niggas don't even be coming with no bread. And a lot of times or whatever, I don't press the issue because despite or whatever how some of these niggas be playing, I know they ain't got it. And sometimes I might just like the goddamn record, so I'll do the shit. Even to the point where I've taken bread out of my own pocket and paid for the session myself to record the record or whatever to go on another nigga project. Now what's fucked up is, what I started to notice, every time I hit them same niggas up to jump on a record, for me, it's always the fucking problem. Schedule, something ain't right, this drama, that drama, and everything like that, whatever. So, you know what? Fuck niggas. You understand what I'm saying? Don't ask for no features. I don't want to rap with you. I never had to rap with any of you niggas in the first place. Any collective or anybody who I've been around where it's like niggas was bashing and had a similar, you know, goal or whatever and shit, I've always been the one, nigga. I don't call you niggas for advice, asking you how shit sound. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I ain't never asked niggas for no fucking musical advice. I ain't even asked niggas for their opinion. So I already know what's up. So, yeah, but like, you know, a lot of that shit, with a lot of water getting cut. Nigga. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna be a fucking, you know what I mean? Like, cause that shit, there's some other shit going on. I just don't know if I want to put that shit all the way out there yet. You know? Just sitting up in here. I tell you, my morning been so cold, bro. I've been up since like 5. And normally I do my little wake and bake thing before I have to like deal with the world. 3-5 a day, keep the felonies away, I guess. But nigga, I ain't even smoked this one. You know? Yeah, like I said, I wasn't even gonna come up on this live, nigga. I was gonna roll this shit up. And I was gonna go sit on the fucking boardwalk and shit, bro. I ain't even gonna hold it. But, you know what? I said, fuck it. I'm not the highlight reel nigga. You feel me? On social media. So, and now I'm low key kind of glad, like, you know, I came on live or whatever and shit, and, you know, said this little piece or whatever so far. I'm gonna finish rolling my weed. Maybe we'll play some videos or something. Maybe I'll talk some more shit while I just sit up in here and smoke. What a lot of y'all probably don't know is I really be sitting up in this motherfucker instead of like just wholeheartedly freestyling on these videos. I really be writing this shit out. Like, for nothing else, I respect people's time. Nobody want to be sitting here on my eyes go in the back of my head trying to come up with some entertaining shit to tell y'all so that the video be long enough or whatever to get, you know, enough ads on it or whatever, and I run the bag up or whatever, or clickbait. Because honestly, if I'm gonna sit down and turn this goddamn camera on, I'm gonna at least say something that's worth my while and yours. Because honestly, no slight to no other like content creators and all that shit, but I could easily do something else. Might not be the most positive shit. Fucking problem. But yeah. The weed is rolled. The weed is rolled. Some shit up real quick.
I just got. I was at a conversation with a friend of mine the other day who's a rapper, and I said, you know, it's like a fucked up thing about rap is that there's a lot of things you could be into as a rapper that it just would never make sense for you to rap about. Like, I was like, you like fishing, right? He's like, yeah. I'm like, you think you could make a dope song about fishing? He's like, no. He's like, I don't got it in me.
I could.
Last night, okay, but I'm just gonna speed run this. Last night, so I listened to the old Step Brothers tape, I listened to the new Step Brothers tape, I'm thinking to myself, like, it's getting late, it's like 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm thinking, like, I'm gonna watch a bunch of like solo stuff, see what these guys are like as individuals a little bit more. And I put on a Don Trip video, and relatively quickly, I realized that you are rapping about being in high school and and walking in on your mom hooking up with your friend from high school.
You picked the hell of a
And then they got married.
Yeah,
you didn't go to the wedding.
No, I didn't go to the
And in that moment, I was like, this is a motherfucker who's very, very down to get outside his comfort zone. Because that is not something I ever would have thought I would have ever heard anybody rap about. That's way crazier than fishing. I don't know. I guess I just want to ask, like,
it's a little more intense than fishing.
When did it come into your head that this was something that you thought was suitable for a song? Because also, this is like 20 years ago or whatever, you know?
If you remember when we first sat down, I said, I don't give a fuck about what happens afterwards. Sometimes I had to, man, listen, I ain't got it all together. So I would rather release it than hold on to it. Because some of the things that I've had to release was already eating me alive. And that was one of them things, I stopped turning the other cheek. I stopped trying to get you to hear me. When I'm speaking on, the relationship with my mama. I just got tired of it. I got tired of the one-sidedness. A lot of people feel like a lot of people will hurt you and feel like they did nothing wrong. And then when you respond to it, no matter how you respond, you're wrong. And I just, when it comes to music, that's what music is for me. That's my outlet. You can't combat it. You can't tell me what I'm feeling ain't true. You really can't say shit. You can respond, Yo,
man, shout out to Trick, bro. I needed that. That's the truth, bro. Like, there be a lot of shit in my head, you know what I'm saying, like, that I be thinking about. And because I think critical anyway, like, you know what I'm saying? So when I get slighted, like, I don't even just think about the person. I think about co-conspirators. I think about who might have even laughed. You understand what I'm saying? Like, all that shit or whatever, right? Because for better or worse, I understand some people would say it's not the best thing or whatever, or the best way, to resolve conflict. But if you violate me, like if you do something fucked up towards me, I'm gonna be 10 times more fucked up or whatever than you were towards me. I'm gonna take it too far. I know this shit about myself. I don't even have to like try to think of a situation or scenario. I know me. I take this shit too far when I get slighted or offended. I don't like that shit because in my mind it's like I grew up in the 90s and came of age in the early 2000s. Very rough and tumble time. You understand what I'm saying? And in those times, the people who I had not allowed to play with were somewhat niggas of you the avid person would perceive. I'm not fucking with that. So, being that I don't let those type of people fuck with me, you know, these regular ass civilian niggas ain't got no chance. None. You understand what I'm saying? But the music definitely, you know, provided an outlet for that shit. You know, some might argue that when I got more into like trying to rap, or at least even before I was like recording music, or even just battling and all of that, I low-key started fighting a little less. But then also, by the time I was out of 8th grade, I had like done some shit to where like ain't nobody trying to fight me, not one-on-one, you know what I'm saying, or do nothing with me and shit. So, you know, that's that. But yeah, that's interesting shit right there.
Later, after the music gets released, but in most cases, I feel like somebody's got. I ain't the only one dealing with it. Maybe not to the extent I had to deal with it, but I ain't the only one who who was in that environment. You know, it's people that can't introduce their older auntie to their younger friends because they auntie over flirtatious or might fuck them or whatever. There's people that got to deal with that. And same with Letter to My Son. That was a record that up until then nobody would say any of what I said. So that's just how I feel. I feel like sometimes that shit that everybody be afraid to say need to be said. And that's what happened. That particular record just happened to be that. But the first verse of that record, I'm apologizing to my sister in hindsight. I'm like, we was growing up. We weren't trying to be big brothers. We was trying to get out of mom's house.
Right.
And, now we look back and we see the damage it did to you. We didn't do it on purpose, but, I get it. I see it. And, I hate that that's how it turned out. I wish I had been more, I wish I had looked out for you more, but in reality, I couldn't. I wasn't there. I didn't have a choice. I had to leave. And, when the decision was made, it wasn't, hey, do I live here with my mama, sleeping with my friend, or, used to be friend? Do I live here and, and look out for you? Or, or do I leave? That one part of the decision,
Damn, so this nigga left the crib because his friend was cracking his mama. But his mama was the adult, you know what I'm saying? And so you pretty much created a situation where you slept with your son's friend when your son had a problem with it, to the point where he left home. You actually stayed with the friend and got married. Hey, that's some cold shit, bro. Like, that's some cold shit. Cause I'm not staying in the goddamn house or whatever and shit like that. My partner is. And then the type of nigga I am, I don't know. I definitely ain't finna slide on a homie or whatever and shit for that shit. I know some niggas that shit y'all claim that, oh, that's Bob Duke. But they get like, yeah, but when you're a kid, you have your mother is like your parents in general, right? Like your whole world. And then as you get older, you start to like, you appreciate still the relationship, and there may be innate love there and emotion, you know what I mean? But you start to understand that people are people, even the people that you love. You understand what I'm saying? So the craziest shit to probably wrap for anybody to wrap their head around is, you could have a woman that's your mother, and you love her, and you know, I love you, all that, right? It still doesn't mean, like, just because, you know, she's a good mom to you and everything like that, does not mean that she has not legitimately been the bitch in a nigga story. That's the truth. That's the truth. Like, niggas' grandma might be, like, let's just say in the context of rappers, right? If you're a rapper, just imagine, like, your grandma might be the type of bitches that you, like, used to be the type of bitch that you rap about. That's some trippy ass shit, but like, that's the real of it. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I would have been the fuck gone. And I mean, I wouldn't have had no regard for whoever the hell was left behind, because at the end of the day, it's not like it's there for me. I know that if that nigga got on some creep shit and, you know, he would have like touched my sister, yeah, like then we gonna spin. You understand what I'm saying?
Well, you know, if you get what I'm saying, me being a big brother wasn't part of the decision to make.
Does your fan base hear that kind of song, and do you feel like them being excited that you were willing to share that about yourself? Like, do you feel it, like, in the comments and the response, that like they appreciate that you were willing to crack that open, that you really didn't have to?
Yeah, I see it a lot. And I think for the most part, that's my core audience appreciates the fact that, if anything, we'll be honest, you know, I'm gonna tell you the good, the bad, and the ugly, whether it's in my favor or not. And, you know, I got records where, you know, I ain't, you know, I'm the one to blame. I'm at fault. You know I'm not perfect either. And, you know, I also have I only know how to call a spade, even if the spade is me. I think that's one of the key attributes. That's one of the main attractions for people who listen to my music.
And I could agree, because I fuck with Don Trip and I fuck with Starlito. I actually got on the Don Trip you know, through Starlito. Like, you know what I'm saying? The Step Brother shit. Now that who Step Brother up, got something to bump. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, shout out to Starlito and Trip. Next so I got this one clip right here of Lord Jamar on the lad. You know, they done made up. Lord Jamar on Fat Joe claiming he robbed 70 people by himself, and people called him and people calling him Cap Joe. Oh man, not Cap Joe. Let's see what this shit is about.
Well, speaking of the 5% Nation, What do you know about God, Crack, Kim, Great God Allah? You know what I'm talking about right now, right? You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know. And what's funny is, I was really waiting to see if any other like prominent 5%ers would come out and talk about this and really like address it. And but it really seems like people are scared.
Is that what it is?
I don't know. Is it? Because the way people talk about it, it's like the gods I know back in the days would have never stood for that.
We're talking about Fat Joe, by the way. Fat Joe claimed that he's from a project called Godsville.
Forest, but that was a nickname.
And it's live.
A nickname for it called Godsville.
Right.
Because a lot of 5%ers and all.
Right. He says so.
Now that's true.
That's
also,
true. It's like the Mecca of the 5%ers. He said, I was God, Crack, Kim, Great God Allah.
So, all right, real quick. Because to what Jamar said, and I don't be agreeing with everything that nigga said, but I will agree to this. There was a time, especially in New York City, you did not, and I mean did not, play with the nation of gods and earth. With the 5% nation. Shit did not happen, bro. You understand what I'm saying? Niggas was a force. You understand what I'm saying? And more so, not even just playing, bro, but even if you even if you were a part of the nation, like you had to know your lessons. You get what I'm saying? So if a brother greeted you and said, peace, God, what's today's mathematics? That was a real thing. You know what I'm saying? Like there were the lessons. I don't know. I didn't get like that deep into it. Outside of like most of my favorite rappers in the beginning were affiliated with the 5% Nation, or at least they had knowledge of self or whatever and shit. Wu-Tang, of course, like being from Staten Island and shit like that. This is Godland, man. Like I don't take nothing away from anybody else, but like my nigga out here, but yeah, this is that. You know what I mean? Queens was a stronghold for that shit. Like every borough had a stronghold where like the 5% Nation was super, super tight. If anybody watching this or whatever from New York, y'all could jump in the comments and let me know where the gods was strong, you know what I'm saying, in your borough at. But at the same time, though, you had what they called renegade gods or something, I want to say. You know what I mean? And they were like niggas who were God body, but they were still involved in, every aspect of the street. A good example of that would be like the Supreme team. Like Supreme is a prominent 5% name, Prince, Black Justice, you understand what I'm saying? And like, justice can be in the 5% Nation, can be anything, and like it could be a universal ass whooping. They didn't say ass whooping, they would say beat down, I think. And but either way, it's like justice could come in many forms. You get what I'm saying? Like when you deal with the nation. So yeah.
And there you go.
Right. Now, let me just say, no self-respecting 5%er, God, Earth, is going to allow someone to incorporate negative with positive in their attribute / name like
Oh,
that.
So since crack is negative, it would not be a 5% name. You're right. I haven't heard any names that have
That's like
crack or killer.
heroin got along, like cocaine got like that shit.
Supreme.
It's some shit. Like if you rolled up to a cipher and yo, peace God, my name is Cocaine God Allah, you would have received what is called a universal beatdown.
Okay.
You would have got what is called justice. Justice is one's reward or penalty for one's ways and actions. It can be something positive, or it could be something negative. You would have got justice for that. And it wouldn't have just been.
Yeah, and see, that's exactly what I was just saying. You know what I'm saying? Like, justice doesn't necessarily have to be, oh, you got beat down or DP'd or whatever. Nigga might just correct your actions. You understand what I'm saying? He might give you further knowledge of self. You understand what I'm saying? So, and then that in itself or whatever, is just like, you know, it's a blessing. So, yeah, like that dope. Like, you know, he was able to clarify that. Like I said, I don't know all of it, but you know what I'm saying? I know enough.
In one person, like all the gods would have been whooping on your ass for running up saying some crazy shit like that.
Well, but here's the thing, though. According to Fat Joe, he robbed, as a teenager, 70 people. He robbed a whole auditorium of people
and made them
without a weapon. He robbed so many people that some of them would carry the things that he robbed. Nobody ran. I mean, 70 people.
Listen, I truly believe
70 people with no gun in the Bronx, nigga? Man, because if you did this, well, if you was that bad, right, then you shouldn't have even like been worried about. I mean, like, you could have been worried, cautious, but you wouldn't have been that scared of Boy George if you had that kind of heart. 70 Bronx niggas. The people who were carrying the coat were probably a part of your crew. Cause like shit like that would happen. Like, you know, it'd be a whole crew of niggas. I mean, like them Red Hook niggas or whatever and shit, they robbed the F train. The whole train. From the front car to the back. So, you know, but 70 people by yourself in the 80s, 90s, I ain't jacking it. I don't even think Pistol Pete would even jack that shit. Like, or would even say that he, I don't know, but yeah, that's.
that Fat Joe he knows that they calling him Cap Joe. He knows that.
Oh, he's Cap Joe?
That's everybody calls him Cap Joe.
Listen, I remember when I interviewed him. We're going to play a little clip of this. In our interview, our last interview, it's been years ago. Like, I heard that Joe doesn't like me these days, whatever, right? But when we did our interview back when we were cool, he said that him and Biggie had a joint album that never came out.
Yeah, I talk to Biggie almost every day.
Really?
Yeah, on the phone.
You guys never recorded together, though?
We did, but it never came out. And
Oh, really?
yeah, we did record. We was doing an album.
Was the
together.
song ever leaked or anything?
No, we did like 4 songs, but
You did 4 songs with
With
Biggie that
Biggie.
no one's ever heard.
never.
What the fuck?
I don't
Who-
think you'll ever hear
Who was
it.
the producer?
If you do, you'll get upset.
Who was the
It's
producer?
Puff Daddy.
Okay, never mind.
So whatever.
Nigga, what? Yo, I don't even remember this part of it. I remember hearing that story, but I always kind of figured, nigga, if there's 4 Biggie verses lying around here, right? Somebody would have been popped up with that shit out the woodwork, nigga. promise you, they would have. But Cap Joe.
Yeah, so I was gonna sign up.
I talked to everyone I knew that was actually with Biggie during this era. That really was with him the whole time. Everyone said this just never happened. In fact, if it did, we would have heard this music, right? Like Biggie had so few lyrics to begin with that everyone's trying to get any sort of piece of him. There's a whole album that never got released. Joe, I'm sorry. Like, I've talked to people. They all said it's just not true. And this was years ago.
So I feel like he knows that the internet, the streets, whatever, call him Cap Joe. So now I feel like he's just coming up with the biggest whoppers in order to go viral, like, because he's going viral.
It's working
every other day.
Salute to Fat Joe.
Like
mission accomplished.
No, but hold up. No, because you can't cross certain lines. Like the crack him, great God Allah, that was crossing a line right there. That's not cool. That's not cool to even insinuate that 5%ers would have accepted you in amongst us with that name is crazy. Like, that's just crazy, and it's just crossing a certain line that doesn't need to be crossed. But at the same time, I'm gonna have to blame us, and I'm gonna say the 5%ers for not being as strong as we used to be, because if we was how we used to have it, a motherfucker wouldn't even think of saying no shit like that. You understand what I'm saying? But I feel like now he's like, ain't no happened to you. Know what I mean? The gods ain't moving like that, like how they used to. So,
and here's the thing with that, right? Prior to the blood becoming force in New York City's correctional system, and eventually the city as a whole, the state, there were no real like groups in the jails for like black to be a part of. Like, you had gangs like the Savage Nomad, Black Spades, the Tomahawks, like the list goes on, the Jolly Stompers, all these different crews and everything, right? And but then of course, you had the Decepticons and the Lowlives, and that was a whole thing that was citywide, you know what I mean? But it was like everybody couldn't really be down. And it's like when the Latin Kings and the Nietas took a hold of, Rikers Island and all that shit, it like they were oppressing the blacks. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure some of y'all seen the stories or whatever and all that. But in the midst of doing that, it was like no group for just regular black criminals to be a part of. Everybody couldn't be Godfather. Everybody damn sure couldn't be, down with, NOI, FOI, whatever and shit, whatever structure they had within the jail. You know what I mean? So when OG Mac and a couple of other, dudes got together and decided to form, what would become like the UBN and all that, it was really just so that, it was unifying dudes that were in the streets that made maybe their aspect of their lifestyle or whatever and shit didn't coincide with the 5% nation or, the nation of Islam, the power structure they had. And that was that. And then, naturally it starts off in Rikers Island as these niggas start getting convicted and going into the state. You know what I mean? And then it just started spreading because initially it started off as a prison gang. You know what I mean? Like it was only meant to stay behind that wall for those fences. And then brought it onto the street. You know what I'm saying? And then the first bloods, you know what I mean? Like in there, some of them niggas were God bodied at one point. You get what I'm saying? But again, like renegade gods. You know what I'm saying? Like I know a lot of niggas from, my era when I was growing up that started out, being God body or whatever, or niggas known them to have 5% of names and shit. And then all of a sudden around 96, 97, 98, you start, whole red. But the gods were definitely a force to be reckoned with, you know what I'm saying? Like probably, and still to some degree, you know what I'm saying? There's probably still some niggas out here, not to be played with. Still pushing the line, but for the most part, I mean, I didn't really see too much of it up north unless I was running into niggas who've been down for like 20 years and, the life of niggas.
That's on us, and we got to get our, you know what I mean? We have to get our shit back right. But I say that to say, and I remember when Fat Joe used to wear a kufi, not a crown, but Fat Joe used to wear a kufi back in the days. There used to be this spot called Quando's, and on the Lower East Side, and they used to do like hip hop shit up in there. This lady Amanda Shear, she was the promoter, and it was one of those, this is like 89, 90. And that's the first time I seen Fat Joe. And he used to come around, he used to have army fatigues on with a kufi. You know what I mean?
I think I've seen these pictures.
But he didn't introduce himself as no Crack Kim, God Allah, he was still Fat Joe. You know what I mean? So all I'm saying is, yeah, I didn't think that was cool, but he's definitely coming up with mad whoppers in order to promote the shit with him and Jada.
Yeah.
And Jada to me is hilarious because Jada just be laughing like he knows he's lying. like he's like, yo, not another one. Like when he said Crack Kim got a lot, Jada said, yo, 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 yo. Me and my brother kept saying that. We was like, yo, 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 yo. Like, yo, that shit was hilarious. And he just keep doing it. Like, he'll say some shit like, nah, come on, man. Like, he's always just, I guess he's doing what he got to do, man, to get his show popping. But I just didn't appreciate that. But then the internet started interneting. And then did you see when they had him like with the kufi on and he had on the universal flag, and they got him standing next to Farrakhan and all kind of crazy shit. Oh yeah, they started getting him. They started getting him.
Started getting busy.
So yeah, that shit will backfire on you sometimes. The internet starts interneting.
Has there ever been a white 5%er?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Like straight white, not mixed.
Yeah, straight white. Fucking Azriel, the father of Allah, taught a dude named Azriel.
Azriel.
Mm-hmm.
Straight white guy.
Straight white guy.
So if I want to be a 5%er, I could do it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'll
But
think
you
about
can't
it.
just, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We got to make sure that you're.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't play around with it. That's the thing. I wouldn't do it just
we know
to go viral.
We don't let original people play around with it. So
Right,
we're definitely
yeah.
not letting
I'm just
nobody else
asking.
play around.
I'm just asking.
Yeah.
Not that I'm intending to do it. I'm just asking. How it
Yeah,
works.
we the 5%ers are pro-righteousness, anti-devilishment.
Okay.
So that's another thing. That's what I'm saying. Crack is part of devilishment. How are you gonna have a devilish, some sort of
Yeah, see, like where most people usually like align the 5% nation like ideology with what you call it, with like the Nation of Islam, the whole like white devil thing. Like there is some connotation, you know what I mean, of that, but it's really just overall like righteousness, right? Because it's not righteous to judge a man based on his appearance or whatever like shit, but rather his character. You know, so it's like that doesn't necessarily, you know what I mean? It's a universal movement and not a nationalist movement. You understand what I'm saying? So, you know, I always say like one of the illest things like growing up in the era is before, you know, like nowadays, you know, you calling these like young niggas and, you know, all that shit or whatever. Like before somebody had like called me, you know, a real nigga, street nigga or whatever and shit like that. I remember being around like 9 years old or whatever and always remember, little man, you God. And like, I ain't, you know, like run with it, but it was, you know, like, and then it was explanation behind it. You understand what I'm saying? And the way, like, you know, he explained it, you know what I mean, was just kind of like dope or whatever. And it does do something for esteem, like, because you kind of feel like you gotta act or carry yourself a certain way. You get what I'm saying? Like to be clean and, I mean, like, niggas raised like that, but you know what I'm saying? Yeah, that was a cool little clip. So
Hey, real tone, there's some real money in the room.
Tech Nine.
So yeah, I just heard that so we got y'all know last week or a couple weeks ago I covered content on Tech Nine from UNLV, one of the first groups on Cash Money, and he started implicating Birdman in the unaliving of Yellow Boy of UNLV, the group mate. And I was going through like reactions that different people were having to that. And one of the reactions or whatever I had was of Terrence Gangster Williams with the answer right back, not wanting to answer no question pertaining to Yellow Boy and all of this other shit. So just trying to do my little follow-ups. I found a clip of a recent clip of Terrence Gangster Williams on Real Tune TV, now speaking or at least going into a little more detail about what Tech said and how he feel about it. So let's get it.
A member of UNLV. Recently, Tech Nine was released from prison. And when he got out, he went on the internet to address some rumors about Hot, your op and former friend, and Yellow Boy.
In my opinion, CMR, Cash Money Records, is responsible for Yellow Boy's death.
When you saw that, what did you think about that?
All right, let me just say this here. He didn't recently get out. Tech been home for a little while now, about a year. Okay, well, the recent get out mean like a few days ago to him. Another thing is this. You know, Tech on that dialysis machine. So I think that kind of messed with his mind, because this is what I don't respect about Tech. Okay, you make this video in honor of your brother that you lost, but then you come right back and take it down and say, y'all, on this porch news, and he never on the porch, he always inside. Man, I got a phone call, y'all, and I took down the video, That's sucker stuff, man. Stand on it. You Tech Nine. You the worstest gun on the market, but you name it the worstest gun, but it's still, you know, you Tech Nine. Stand on what you said, boy. You said that already. Don't take it down now. because like I say, I think he be feeling like sometimes like, man, what you call that? When women menstruation down, like they just be a little grouchy, grumpy, you know.
Menopause.
Yeah, the period, right? So
Not menopause.
I think he was having one of those flashback moments. You know what I'm saying? But Tech, interesting character. This is a different side. I don't know this side of Tech jumping on here, talking and doing. I just know Tech for getting high, staying out the way, and rapping. That's the Tech I know.
Oh, I heard Tech Nine was a gangster back in his.
Yeah, I heard that too. Must be with the shortest. It must be two side. Must be two Techs. That's what I'm saying. Tech, you ain't never heard that man with no gangster.
I heard he was
Who you heard that from, Tune?
the streets.
Who is streets? Not the streets. Don't do that, Tech. Cause Tech, I was calling you Tech. Tune, don't do that. Tune, Tech, all that's the same. That's what I'm trying to tell you. It ain't the same, huh? You see what I'm saying? He ain't different. Okay, real Tune. So you say he ain't real Tech. That what you say? Oh, so let me just say this here.
Spider.
It's safe to say this, because me and Tech around the same era.
Right.
So the only story you heard me talk about was Tech having a fight with Slim. So now one would say this here: out of everybody with the Cash Money clique, Uptown, how you fight with Slim? You gonna call Tech a gangster? Stop it, Five. Like, come on, don't do that to him, bro.
Them 6'6", Slim maybe
6'8". Yes, but still, Tech ain't never been known to be no gangster. You ain't never heard nobody say Tech was a gangster. You ain't never heard me speak on no hood story of Tech being a gangster.
But my only thing is, why would he come out now and say that?
Because he goofy. He goofy. Then once a lot of people got on him, he realized like that wasn't the right thing to say. Because if you wasn't there, if you ain't eyewitness there, why you speaking on something, you know? And he just did a song called Internet Rats. How you go from Internet Rats, these do this? You put my name in the song. If Stony Mosquito was home, why, right? So my thing is, you standing on one thing, then you come right back and go and say, okay, they did this, y'all. So now you had people, I had them people on the back. And let me tell you what's crazy, bro. Because while I'm in Houston, when I'm riding, coming to the hotel, I saw the cars, these cars following me. So I see the dark window, I'm like,
hey, so real quick, sometimes I be thinking like gangsters just be talking shit. But I mean, I figured on the depression angle or whatever and shit, living with dialysis or whatever probably mess with your head. But it said dialysis can significantly impact mental health. Living with kidney failure and undergoing dialysis can lead to a range of emotional and psychological challenges, including depression, anxiety, and cognitive issues like brain fog. Damn. That's crazy. But yeah, see, you learn something every day.
I'm thinking, there's my people following me, right? But all the while, it was tech people, the Asians, it was detectives following me while I'm in Houston. So Tech put the people on. No, he don't edit that.
This nigga trolling.
Tech gonna be mad when take the video that they say, if a gangster, I'm sick of him. How you sick of me? This is my world. You to my playground. You a rapping dude. You in the booth. You came to my playground, made a few shots in the goal, or threw a few passes. I might have caught a few intercepts, but now you sick of me. Man, bro, I'm about to retire soon from YouTube, but until then, man, hey.
So he took the video down.
Yeah.
You know what I strongly dislike, man, is when you make a video like that and you remove the video and you put up the apology. Many people don't see the apology. Many people don't see you. I didn't see that. I don't know nothing about that. All I know is you came out and said this about Birdman. You know what I'm saying?
And people were screen recorded. So even though you took it down, people already have it. It's already out. People already have copies of that. It took it, made their video, reaction videos, took the narrative and ran with it. So you already caused damage. So what he did was like, it's pretty much how you might see a female with a fat butt and like, man, you sweat that. You did, she slapped you like, oh my bad, but the damage been done already. I know you got a soft butt or you got a hard butt. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, man, that was a clown move he did. He continued to do clown stuff. Like his homeboy, Ripper made a video talking respectful to him. Oh, you let me do. Then he did some female stuff. Oh, don't nobody call my phone no more. I'm at, you ain't hot. Anybody calling you? Nobody not call you. Ain't do no concert to get in for free. You sure not packing no, you might got a ballroom. Y'all got ballrooms out here in Houston? I don't know nothing about that. I don't say, so you might could pack a ballroom, might, but you gotta have y'all there with him. But other than that, nobody not calling your phone because you ain't got nothing going on. You talk about off the porch media or on the porch, something about the porch news, and you inside. So anybody come on the porch and kick it with you.
Hey, real tone, it's some real money in the room.
A disturbing sex trafficking bust. Several suspected gang members arrested, accused of forcing young girls into prostitution. Good evening, everybody. Thanks for being with us. You're watching LA Live News Tonight. I'm Marla Tejas.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Christine Devine. Federal prosecutors here in LA say this is the first major takedown of sex trafficking operation on that infamous Figueroa Street.
Fox 11's Chelsea Edwards spoke to the acting top prosecutor in our area about this bust, and she's live in Westwood tonight. Chelsea?
Yeah, well, this was a big bust. We're talking 11 alleged gang members, including 6 leaders of the Hoover Criminal Street Gang, now indicted on these really disturbing charges. Take a look at some video. These are images that were mentioned in the indictment, things that they posted to social media. Prosecutors say the gang recruited girls as young as 14 years old, many of them runaways or kids from the foster care system. Federal officials say those victims were regularly raped and drugged, all while being forced into prostitution. The alleged ringleader, a 25-year-old woman named Amaya Armstead, who goes by Lady Duck. Prosecutors say she and her co-defendants acted as pimps, using social media to recruit vulnerable teens and young adults, then controlling them through violence, drugs, and intimidation. According to the indictment, victims who disobeyed were assaulted, humiliated, they were denied food or drugs, and in some cases, branded with tattoos of their traffickers' street names.
I mean, these guys were prolific. They were the ones recruiting these young women and children. They're ones out there selling them. They were out there enforcing by beating up these women and drugging them and raping them. And so today we're getting the worst people off the street, and there should be an impact on the community very quickly.
Federal prosecutors say the group controlled sex trafficking along a 3.5-mile section of Figueroa Street in South LA, known as the Figueroa Corridor, and they've been in control from February of 2021 until now. Tonight, we sat down with Lori Burns, a survivor who was trafficked into prostitution out of the foster care system as well. She has now made it her life's mission to save victims like the ones from this case, founding the Teen Project, which provides wraparound services to foster and at-risk young women. She believes the system is broken for everybody involved.
I am very sold on hurt people because I see the girls, I know the stories of the men that have taken them, and it's all a failed system. It's all going to go back to the broken system because a lot of the kids that you see on the street that were gang members were in the system themselves, whether they were in juvenile hall, group homes, or foster homes. They were in that broken system and they came out unhealed, unhelped.
Now, 5 of the...
Nah, that's real shit though. Because when you think about it, it's like this broken system created the pimp, and, there's like, if the trafficker is the culprit, then the situation pretty much, it's like, well, that victim came out of the same system as her, abuser. So, and there's a lot of abuse within the system. That's what they learn. It's very seldom that I hear a story about somebody who has been like in the system for like child services and everything, that either like physically or sexually or just mentally and emotionally abused. You know what I'm saying? Like when you hear somebody say like, oh yeah, I had a great foster family and all that should be like a rarity because you just hear so many horror stories. And I'm pretty sure there's probably a lot of good foster parents, probably more good than bad, but we only see the fucked up part. least that's all they make the movies about. You know.
The suspects pleaded not guilty today, and the trial has now been set for early October. And if convicted as charged, some could be facing life in prison. Reporting live from Westwood, I'm Chelsea Edwards, Fox 11 News.
Chelsea, I'm looking at those photos there, thinking of the industry of sex trafficking, and these suspects all seem fairly young.
Yeah, a lot of them, most of them, I would say in their early 20s, very young. And the ringleader, just 25 years old, and a woman as well. Experts say they often use women that are in the system themselves. They use them to get these younger girls to trust them before bringing them in to the same system that they're in. It's a horrible cycle.
Yeah, just a sick industry. About the victims, do we have any idea how many there are, and are they all from the Southern California area?
Those are questions that were not answered today. Today, the focus was on the indictment and getting these people off the streets and into federal custody. So no, we're waiting on details on where they are now and how they're doing.
So now, what's interesting is we were just talking about Rowdy Rebel being caught out in LA with a gun and getting booked and potentially having to be locked up around Hoovers after he had some derogatory thing to say about the Hoovers in LA in general. The feds came and snapped them, so they'll probably be in federal holding, probably wherever they holding Lil Durk ass at. Excuse me. That's probably where they finna hold them niggas. And shit. What's interesting is that, like, you know, it's the Hoover they got caught up, and that's who Rowdy initially, you know, sparked his issues with. So it's kind of a high-profile case or whatever. So if they were going to be held in LA County, that shit would be interesting to see how that plays out. You know, if they were all in population together and anything like that. And then I don't know, because then I don't know if Rowdy is gonna be charged federally for that gun case in California. But then it's like, might be a Boosie situation, although, I mean, because it's similar to the Boosie situation. You know, you're not from California, you're gonna live with a gun and shit. You have to go back out there for a hearing, but it's like, and again, he's on parole, so yeah, it's tricky. Like, you know what I mean? They might just federally fuck that nigga for one reason or another. Especially depending on like where the gun came from and the circumstances of how it was obtained. Well, you know. So, let me see what else we got. Oh, yeah, we can play this next. Got Choke No Joke. He's saying that, Dame, you should have left Biggs and Cameron. Look how they flipped.
Niggas who call you broke and they got fake jewelry. Who cares, Dave? These niggas out here with fake jewelry. Niggas out here with bodyguards and running around with 10 niggas because they can't even walk around by themselves because these niggas is pussy. You'll never see these niggas by themselves.
That is true, but I do want to say that I used to have the same outlook on people who constantly like moving around with security. You know what I'm saying? Like, then I started realizing that even if you're a person that knows how to handle yourself, like you can fight or whatever, if you punch somebody in the face, lawsuit. You understand what I'm saying? If the security guard is doing their job, somebody getting like out of line, you have the security. It's like, and especially if you know you're one of the niggas with the off-duty cop type, then you know that shit gonna be open and shut. They're gonna like they're professional. They know how to talk to them people when they show up or whatever, and you know do all of that shit or whatever. And your ass will make it home in time and. You know, whatever your appointment is going forward, you're gonna go and get your bag and it be over and done.
Telling you, Dame, man. These niggas is tricking you out your goddamn freedom, man. Watch. Next time you go to court, watch your last interview be brought up. And then you slipping up saying things that I ain't gonna point it out, but you be slipping up. You be slipping up.
That's crazy because I said that.
And the only reason
now I had mentioned that. Not that he was slipping up, or you know what I'm saying, like, because I kind of caught some of what Choke was alluding to too, right? And that was what made me say, well, before we see like Dame like broke, like how people think he is, we'll probably see that nigga in some white collar shit or whatever going to the feds. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's fucked up to say it like that, but you know that's what it is. And yeah, I hope that he's not so, as much as he says he doesn't care what people think, then it's like, bro, why even bother? Why even take the money to go on the internet or whatever and shit, like a couple $1,000 at most or something, and then talk about some shit that could potentially lead to hundreds of thousands in legal fees and lawsuits and shit. Just my thought.
and I'm saying something about it is because I got a soft spot in my heart for the nigga, right? Like I said, even I've been done wrong, but I still don't forget about the good, right? The money, sometimes money don't mean everything. You know what I'm saying? I don't forget being able to go to Johannesburg for Nelson Mandela's 85th birthday party, and Oprah and Naomi Campbell and Robert De Niro and all them niggas. It's just standing around. I don't forget stuff like that. That stuff right there is priceless.
Hell yeah.
I can't put a dollar amount on that. But memories, I will never forget.
Oh shit. Fuck I did.
Man, this nigga.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. Like, even when it comes down to my time with like Rap Game Clothing and all of that other shit, and however I might feel about how, you know, niggas handle certain shit. And you know, it wasn't even at the time, it was the shit I found out after the fact. You know what I'm saying? Because when niggas fall out with each other, all of a sudden they want to tell all the dirt, and they want to tell it to somebody, you know, but they trying to win people on their side or whatever the argument. You get what I'm saying? But yeah, even though I can think of a million one reasons or whatever and shit to like want to do something to homie, not nothing like, you know, patented mortality and shit, but you know, just boop boop bop, real quick, nigga, you know, we had some memories, man. We made some history together, so it's kind of like, I don't got no soft spot though. I mean, not for that motherfucker though.
We'll be going back and forth at each other in Africa. Nigga lied, said I ran on. I don't care. I know his niggas, Biggs and them niggas is the one that ran on him and Claudie B. They the ones that grew up with him. I didn't grow up with him. Those are the niggas that didn't fight, that grew up with him. Let's get the fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying? Big, this stupid nigga is the one that got arrested for transporting seeds from Amsterdam into Paris and got arrested. And who waited for him? Dane. For what? For him to come out and turn around and issue on Dane and go run with Jay. This is the nigga that was growing weed in his house and got busted and went to jail. And who was there for him? Dang. And he get out of jail, what he do? He go run over there with Jay.
You know, sometimes, I mean, I know Jay-Z, like, you know, he a big fish or whatever, $1 billion nigga and shit, but when they made that switch, I often wonder if they went over there for Jay or the connections over there. OG Juan, Desiree Perez. Supposedly, she got bad action. She got babies. I don't know.
These niggas love rubbing the camel hump. But Dane was the one that was there for them.
Yo. Oh, shit. Yo. The camel's hump is wild bars, nigga. Oh, God. That is crazy. Yo, Choke, no, nah. Choke got the joke. That one. I'm gonna make him choke on this goddamn weed. Niggas.
Niggas is male groupies. If Dane was Jay, these niggas would have been turned their back on Jay and they'd be over there with Dane. Niggas ain't got no loyalty. Them niggas is going where the money is at. They going where the fame is at. And Jay's the nigga that he wanted to kick the Biggs out of Rockefeller. James could have said yes. Get rid of that nigga. And them niggas probably would still be together today.
That's crazy.
James, no, he want to be the real one. Nah, man, nah, we can't do that to Biggs. Man, you should have said F Biggs. When Jay was...
Hey, look. This shit kind of, again, back to the rap game situation, right? So, I've been meaning to kind of tell this story. I guess I'm going to kind of tell it right now. Where we go. When I was with our rap game clothing or whatever and shit, I was supposed to be their artist. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know, I got a mind on me, especially like creatively, and it's not just confined to music. And, you know, I was a kid, but I was still in high school. So, you know, I am the embodiment of the market that these niggas are trying to sell to. Like, you know what I mean? Like in that space and shit. So who knows better, right? Like I remember being in one meeting or whatever, and they were talking about making hats and everything like that. And I was like, well, that's a waste of money. You ain't never seen Memphis Bleak wear a rocker wear hat. Because at the time, you didn't. You would wear all the clothes, but that nigga was gonna have a new era fitted on. Or Mitchell and Ness or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So that was you know, that was that. Now while I was over there, you know, because the niggas who ran that shit, they was Haitian. So that's how I ended up meeting the nigga Jimmy Henchman, right? I've been to Jimmy Henchman orbit probably like 3-4 times and shit, and then maybe like on the 5th time, because niggas gave like, I think Jimmy was doing like the Bulletproof Wallets or something, like some compilation shit he had going on. And it was still Henchman Entertainment. It wasn't Czar yet. We went up there over there on 26th Street, like at the hardwood floor, and it was like Henchman Entertainment or whatever. And it was like the body like outlined in chalk, but it was red and black, like it was the logo. You know what I'm saying? It's like a little sofa and all that, and there was like a big screen in there, and I think it was like a studio as you go to the back. I want to say. I don't really know what all the way back there, but I want to say it was a studio back there. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, you know, I meet Jimmy, like, you know what I'm saying? And he, you know, nigga was cool, like regular. Like he wasn't like loud. He wasn't like, I mean, he could be like, he could, you know, he joke around like a little bit, like with them niggas, you know what I'm saying? But one day I got sent there, whatever, I want to say get some jackets, cause like he would let nigga keep the clothes, but if like them leathers or whatever and shit, a lot of times we would get them shit back. So I go over there to pick up the leathers or whatever and shit from the office. And while I'm in there, this is the first time that I ever been around this nigga like by myself. You dig? So you know, he just finally asked me, like, as I'm getting ready to leave, he say, yo, what do you do? Like, you like a designer or something or whatever? So I laughed. I'm like, nah. Like, I do whatever pays. Cause I was like, you know, still I'm doing that, but like, I was like in the streets and shit. Like, them niggas wasn't really paying me no bread or whatever and shit to be down with that shit. I just saw an opportunity or whatever to get closer to the industry because I was still trying to like rap at that point. And so I was like, I'm supposed to be a rapper, but I ain't had no music recorded or nothing. And so he was like, oh, word? And he was like, oh, yo, give me some music. And I thought that was kind of crazy because it's like, he's supposed to be cool with these niggas. They on some, you know, on some Haitian, you know, tight shit. So I'm like, damn, like, you know, me being young and having this whole impression of like loyalty and everything like that, I'm sitting here like, damn, man, like, you know what I'm saying? Nah, I'm gonna be loyal to, you know, these niggas. You know what I mean? If they really want me to blow, and you know what I mean? Like, and man, the whole time I would find out later, they ain't want to see me. Like, well, let's say this. I'm not gonna say they ain't want to see me make it. He just ain't want to see me make it before him or be bigger than him. You understand what I'm saying? But yeah, hindsight 2020, I probably should have ran with Jimmy. Now, I don't know how that shit would have ended up, because I mean, that nigga doing like a life sentence right now, but more than likely, I probably would have done some ghostwriting and shit, got a bag out of that, like, you know what I'm saying, and maybe even a deal. Because I mean, if nothing else, like, time showed, like, I got the talent, like, I got the music. You know what I'm saying? So, who knows? You know what I mean? Like, I probably fucked up on that part. You know? But, yeah, like, you know, it's just interesting to think or whatever, and shit, what coulda, woulda, or shoulda been. I try not to dwell on it, but it's just something that you think about, especially when you see how history plays out with the whole G Unit and like, yeah, bro, like that shit was crazy. Like, them niggas was from Southside Queens, so they knew what came up around niggas who was cool with 50 and all that stuff. Yeah, that's my little story or whatever and shit about meeting Jimmy Henchman and him offering the manager. I never gave him no music. I don't know. I've only seen him there like once or twice after that. But then, like, shortly after that and shit, I started like going out of town, getting money and everything like that. And I started to kind of get a little distant from the rap game shit because I ain't really want to be no rapper. Like, all the rappers that I was being that had a deal or was in a situation was fucked up. And at the time, I was kind of having my way. I hadn't like got to where I would get to, you know, a little later, but for a 16, 17-year-old nigga, like, I was doing all right, bro. I go with what I want. I'd be out on the street every day, all night. You know what I mean? I used to go downtown Brooklyn and like I'd buy a new outfit to wear for the day. You know what I'm saying? And, like, just swap the clothes out. You know what I mean? Like, after I stayed in a little motel for the night and something like that, then nigga got hip to you could rent rooms in the city for $100 a week. You know what I'm saying? So you get money, shit. You could just have $400 a week or whatever, and shit. You could have a little spot you could lay your head in every borough. That's a whole nother story how that shit come in handy. You understand what I'm saying? But yeah, man, that was the time, man. My teenage years. I lived in these other days. I was outside. But yeah, man.
Fed up with Cameron? You should have said F Cameron, not Jay. Look at what they did, bro. Them niggas turned groupie on you. It's crazy, bro. This is why you don't see me hanging out with none of these industry niggas.
No rap friends.
Because they don't got no loyalty, man. None. Cam is the worst, too. That nigga Cam is the worst. That nigga, if you can't see Cameron's character, like, he is the worst. How could he ever talk bad about Dame Dash, bro? How could he sit there and not throw this nigga $1 million, $2 million if he had it? But you would get on the internet and talk bad about this dude? You shouldn't have nothing bad to say about Dave. You would not be up if it wasn't for him, my nigga. He went against his own team for you.
we got a Dame clip, but before we do that, hey, No Lie told Bear, and that's crazy that Choke No Joke said it, because when I had Baby Truth on here, we were covering what Dame had said from the same interview. What Dame had said about what you can call it. If Dame had managed his money a little better or whatever, like, you know, he wouldn't have a care in the world and all this other shit. He was like, yo, he should never have spoken on Dame. You understand what I'm saying? Like, and you know, Cam even more than Jimmy. You know? So that much is, you know, I can see that. And I mean, that's 2 for 1, you know. I think the context and like Cam was saying, is like the way they were talking is like, bro, Dame did a lot, like with his bread. Like, you understand what I'm saying? Like, he splurged, but he enjoyed that shit. He's still, you know, holding on to a little something now. But like Choke No Joke said, he's damn near about to get tricked, you know. Like he's gonna talk himself off the street. Hopefully he ain't got no bullshit going on, or maybe he's just talking because you know he ain't got nothing to worry about. But, you know, that's it. But sometimes that could also be bad too. You know, that's why pleading the fifth isn't always about whether or not you're guilty or not guilty or whatever and shit like that. It's that you could be implicated in some shit just because of what you said.
Just out of curiosity, right? When you did that episode of MTV Cribs and you made a comment about how you only wear your Air Force Ones once and you throw them away, you was only saying that for TV, right?
Nah, no. Bro, if you go in my closet, we're going to do the other thing. There's a crispy pair of Nike Airs in there, right? I always have some Nike Airs on deck. What are you talking about? But now I make my own sneakers. Right now I'm on the rant, so I got these old school New Balance that most people don't understand. This is black with the blue rock socks. You know what I'm saying? You know? Like people wouldn't understand my fit check because I make all my
Death of a Dynasty. What made you make that movie?
I directed. That makes me excited because I directed that movie. It was in the Tribeca Film Festival. I was trolling. I saw what was going on and I made a movie about it while it was happening. That's how funny it was to me. And that's how much of a genius I was about it. I take what I feel and make it into something creative and tangible. It was therapy, but it was
low key. So you could say that Dame Dash made the first Instagram story or like post or whatever and shit. He literally took something that was happening in the moment and, like, for lack of a better word, like, you know, he live streamed it, like, you know, straight to DVD, I guess you could say. You know what I mean? But that's crazy. I didn't even know. I didn't know that it was in the Tribeca Film Festival. That's pretty dope.
You know, it was life imitating art in the moment. I just found that to be a genius thing to do. And if you look at how many people and celebrities from New York were in it, it's quite an incredible movie, to be honest. That, again, no one will be like, damn, Dame. Like, to me, the question from my perspective is like, how were you a CEO running all those verticals and you actually directed a movie? How do you do that? But if I don't give myself props, I guess nobody else will. I call them affirmations. If no one recognized my super strengths, if I depend on people telling me how good I am, I would really think I wasn't. Could you imagine if I listened to what the world or these headlines and I made that my opinion of myself? It'd be terrible. But trust me, it actually gives me a higher opinion of myself. Just people intrigued by me is a compliment. So many years later.
So would it be fair to say that you already knew Rockefeller was coming to an end?
I knew that our relationship was pretty much a wrap. Yeah. I didn't know Rockefeller was going to go down. But I know Jay and I, how we had existed. Yeah, that wasn't going to exist like that anymore. Like, I was hearing that we had a beef. I was like, why, once we stopped playing pause,
once he told me that Kevin Liles was his friend and he likes Lior, once he told us that he didn't want to be partners anymore.
Yo, once he stopped playing Pause, but that to be the first thing that came out of your life. And I'm going to say it again and again and again, and one day I'm probably going to end up going viral for this shit. Well, I mean, hopefully it was, but that's not the thing that I go viral. But the pause is the pause to me. The fact that we could be having a regular conversation about anything, and you sit here and say, yo, hey, yo, pause, and all this other shit or whatever, meaning that you were sitting over here thinking about eggplants. And that's fucking like cause for concern. Like one time, I was on Clubhouse doing one of the content rooms, and I'm telling the story about how back in the day niggas used to we were talking about empty basketball courts, and how like everybody used to be on the basketball court back in the day, and how now it's empty. I'm like, hell yeah, bro. This used to be outside. I said boombox. I said music playing all day or whatever. I said keep a pack of 3 batteries in case them shit go dead. But all of a sudden, niggas stopped the whole conversation. Hey, yo, that's a pause, yo. I'm like, what's a pause? He said, 3 batteries. Really, my nigga? So, like, we sitting here talking about hip hop and back in the day and all this other shit or whatever, and like, your mind just went there or whatever when you heard D batteries. I ain't even just say, I ain't even say a pack of these. Once I put the battery on the back of it or whatever and shit, just leave the D alone. What the fuck, man? So if I can't say D without there being a pause, so when I go to Detroit, I can't say I'm in the D. I can't say shout out to the D. Niggas fucking wild, bro. Pause.
More, once him and Big stopped speaking, yeah, it'd be pretty stupid to think that we were going to remain and have the same existence moving forward. We just had different aspirations for life at that point.
You got some things going on right now that I'm not liking, man. I know we supposed to.
Yeah, we already talked about tech and shit. But yeah, man, that's my take on that or whatever and shit. The pause probably got annoying or whatever and shit. There's probably a couple other things, and like, Dame. I think Dame wanted to build a Harlem section in there because for the longest time it was really just Dame and Big, 2 Harlem guys, around a bunch of Brooklyn, and then eventually a bunch of Philly niggas. So I guess he wanted to get some home team in the mix. Cam needed a spot. He had the power over there at the time. And the niggas had the movement. You understand what I'm saying? And it's like, their movement, that Dipset shit was so big, it kind of like, it was like a cheat code. It was like he kind of fast-tracked his way to having like the biggest crew over there as far as all the Harlem like niggas and shit. And then it helped like the office is in Manhattan. So it's like, nigga, you already in the borough, you know what I'm saying? You shoot 100 blocks north, you in the hood, like, you know what I'm saying? So that's my take on it with that man shit. And then, Jay, that whole Rockefeller idea or whatever and shit, like, I mean, he's really living it. And the niggas already done things like, I don't know why anybody is surprised by like anything that this nigga Jay has done. You know what I mean? Like, because he's constantly showed who he is, like, you know what I mean, in different instances, to where nothing that happened during the death of the dynasty is really surprising. But let me know what y'all think about all this, whatever, in the comments, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we gonna get up out of here. You know, got into the groove or whatever and shit like that. Pretty good. I got to go and change the cover now because we talked about completely different subject than what than the thing. But definitely got a dope show for y'all tomorrow, man. Definitely tap in Friday. You know what I'm saying? End of another week. We're going to episode 30, boy. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, shout out to everybody who pulled up. Hit that like and subscribe button, smash that notification bell if you really mobbing with the content. Help get this shit out here. And, yeah, man, as always, stay dangerous so you can be safe. It's your boy Daylight TV. I'm out.